Hello, welcome to Pecan Corner. I'm Tina, and what I'm showing you right now are the Zeer pots, the flower pot cooling system that I made up this year to use. Last year, when I gathered my produce, I didn't have any place to keep it, so I had to bring it in the house, and it just laid all over the dining room table all the time, and it wasn't a good thing. And somebody told me about using Zeer pots. It's spelled Z-E-E-R, and what it is well, I'll show you. But I've been able, because of this, to keep my tomatoes outside this summer, and I want to show you the temperatures I measured today. It was supposed to get up to 105 today, so I've got them out here on a little table under the carport. And I've had this thermometer sitting out all day here in this location in the shade, and as you can see, it's nearly 100 degrees in the shade. It probably is 105 out in the sunshine or higher. And so, but in my Zeer pots, which are, let me show you what they are. Now this is just a wet towel, and what they are is two plain unglazed clay flower pots nested inside each other with sand between them. I put a little sand down in the bottom. Let me show you how I did one. Well, here's one. I couldn't find enough flower pots this year. Everybody wanted them, so I didn't. So I've just used duct tape on the inside and on the outside of the pots, and you'd put a layer of sand in the bottom, and then set your center pot in. And you can see I've got two different size pots. I needed more of 9 or 10 inch pots, but I couldn't find them, so I ended up having to make these smaller ones. These actually probably keep it a little cooler because there's more sand between it. So I'd say about an inch of sand between the two would be the best way to keep it really cool. I put them on in pie pans so that it can catch the drips, and that there is a well for it to draw from. But here's what I want to show you. Alright, it's this is 82 degrees, so inside this, with nothing but water, it is 20 degrees, nearly 20. What is that? 80. Let's say that's about what? About 84. So it's a good 15, 18 degrees lower than it is. I laid my towel on that, and it brought it down. So let me get it back over there where it'll be not affected. But anyway, it's a good 15 to 18 degrees cooler than it would be. Plus, it's moisturized. The other problem with our heat right now is it's so dry that, and there's a breeze, but that dry heat just sucks the moisture out of everything. So that's so I've been able to keep my tomatoes in these little pots outside all year, and not my produce, and not have to take it in the house. These butternut squash are just here curing, but by keeping them near these pots, it stays a little bit cooler for them too, even though they're not in there. Now, what I've done is I found that a lot of little bugs love love these pots. There's a click beetle that's a kind of lightning bug. And oh, they love to eat tomatoes. They love to get down in these pots and eat rotten tomatoes. So once one starts going bad, they'll come and they'll flock to this pot, and I would find them underneath there. So what I've done is I've made these little. Well, let me put this back on the thing so I can get two hands together. All right, what I've done is I made up these little bags. I just used a curtain panel, one of those thin curtain panels, and turned it into some bags, drawstring bags, and used it to put these tomatoes in. So see, they can sit in here and ripen all through the week, and as I gather them, and then they're nice and fresh when I take them to market. And so the drawstring wasn't quite enough on its own to keep the critters out, so I wrap it a couple of times and tighten it up like that to keep anything from being able to get in. Little spiders like to get in there too, and I've fortunately lost some of my fear of them, so I'm able to not freak out when I find them in there. But by having them in these bags where they can't be, where the bugs can't get into them, that helps somewhat too. When I had cucumbers, my cucumbers have gone the way, my cucumber vines have gone the way of all things, so they're no longer with us. But when I had cucumbers, I was able to put cucumbers in here too. But interestingly enough, I just thought you might want to see the difference in how these actually work. I'm fixing to do a little experiment. I've got a rose bush over here. I'm fixing to clip a rose. Bud it out. And I'm just going to set it down inside here. And I'm going to see what happens. Just down in there. There we go. I'm going to see what happens keeping that rose in the cool like that and see if it'll stay fresh. But anyway, I think they were worth the investment because even though our temperatures have been 100 and more, I've been able to keep my produce outside. It's protected. It stays fresh. You know, tomatoes are not supposed to be refrigerated. So an outdoor refrigerator or an extra refrigerator wouldn't help me with them. So this has been a perfect solve for my tomatoes, and you don't even have to cover it with a towel. The towel helps on the hottest days, but a lot of the time I've used it and just left it open and uncovered so that air can circulate, and it has still kept a really good temperature. So I hope this helps. I've seen a lot written up about the Zeer pots, but I had never seen anybody report back on how and show how they were actually working. So now this one's come back up. You can see the difference there in the temperature. So it's at 98, and here in the shade, and so that's. I think it's pretty good. I think it was worth my investment, and I think these are something that I'm going to, over the next winter, as I find more pots to fit, I'm going to have me a whole table full of them next year, so that all of my produce will have a place to live and be protected and cooled until the market time comes. All right, I hope this has been helpful to you guys. Thanks a lot, and if you like it, please give us a thumbs up and please subscribe. Thanks a bunch. Alright, it's now the next day. It's about 5:30. I meant to get out here earlier, but a friend stopped by and gave us some crappie. So, who's going to say no to that? So we had a really nice visit with our friend Wayne. He and Nancy are just wonderful people. Alright, so it's about 95, 96, 97 in the shade right now, as you can tell. I have not been back out here since yesterday afternoon about 3:30, so I haven't added any new water. And as you can see, they've just about soaked up. There's still a little bit of water in the container, but not much. And I never did re-wet the cloths. But this rose has stayed real fresh, and the temperature in here is still looks like about 85. So it's a good maybe 12 degrees below, even 24 hours or 26 hours later. It's still a good 15 degrees below the outside temperature right here. So The real Zeer pots can be a very effective way of cooling and preserving things out of doors in the heat of summer. All right, thanks a bunch, you guys. Appreciate it. Bye.